Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. In this video I'll look into the circumstances surrounding the death of the 95-year-old New South Wales grandmother who was tasered by police in her nursing home and who died a week later. Her death affected me personally. My elderly grandmother spent about 1.5 years in a Victorian nursing home. What worried me was the heavy-handedness and the weapon-happy attitude of the New South Wales police, and wondered if anything like this would happen in Victoria. I'll start with a news video which describes what happened in some detail. Please see the video at link 1 in the description. This video provides details that many local news reports leave out. The New South Wales grandmother suffered from dementia and was carrying a steak knife, which she was asked to put down, but didn't. She weighed 43 kilograms and approached a police officer in her walking frame. A walking frame is a metal box-like stand on wheels that the elderly stand in and hold onto to move around. It supports and steadies them. So a frail elderly woman, weighing less than most teenagers, shuffling along in her walking frame, approached a policeman. Do you think she was a threat to anyone? By just taking a few steps away, you could put yourself out of reach and any possible harm. But the police officer decided the best way to deal with her was to use his taser, which he fired not once but twice. We find out from other news reports that police can only use their tasers on the elderly in extreme circumstances. Do you think this was an extreme circumstance? We will see later that ambulance staff are easily able to diffuse very similar situations, simply by speaking gently and kindly to the elderly. Now, getting back to the New South Wales grandmother, she hit her head when she fell. Note that the police officer didn't even try to break a fall. Most of us know that elderly people can easily break bones when they fall. The police officer couldn't have been that far away, but he just let her fall to the ground. You get the sense from the news correspondent that he was horrified at what happened, how police were called to a retirement home to deal with an elderly and weak dementia sufferer, and then how callously the police handled the situation. I happen to share this view. In this video I'd like to explore issues surrounding this incident, most of which are not pleasant. First, the New South Wales Police. The New South Wales Police Commissioner said that police are not trained to handle many situations they're called to. Please see the video at link 3 about 25 seconds in. But training is not the issue here. The frail and the elderly have been a part of human civilization for tens of thousands of years, possibly much longer. Nearly all societies have learned to treat them with respect and gentleness. Most young, middle-aged and old people in Australia know instinctively how to treat the frail and elderly. Why not the New South Wales Police? You would think that police would also know this. Many being 30 to 40 years of age or older would have elderly parents themselves. The fact that the police say that they're not trained is simply avoiding this truth. Also, the New South Wales Police and media want us to think this incident was a one-off, and the police officer was a rogue officer. But that's not correct. The New South Wales Police have behaved in the exact same way multiple times to elderly dementia sufferers. After the New South Wales grandmother was tasered, other families came forward. Please see the link at video 2 about 19 seconds in. The New South Wales Police behaved with force towards an 81-year-old grandmother who was also a dementia sufferer. She weighed just 45 kilograms, and there's even video evidence of what the police did. The grandmother appears confused. 6 police officers came in 3 cars and double handcuffed her. She was left howling in pain. Now, if you call the police about an incident in your neighbourhood, rarely, if ever, would 6 police show up in 3 cars. Often none show up at all, and they certainly wouldn't treat troublemakers like the way they treated this 81-year-old grandmother. Notice how the police tell this grandmother not to resist, or it will hurt more. Really? Also notice when the ambulance comes and the ambulance staff speak kindly and gently to her, the whole situation is diffused, and she becomes compliant and doesn't resist. Please see the video at link 2 about 3 minutes in. Surely the New South Wales Police know this as well. Are they unable to be kind and gentle with the elderly? Must they resort to force all the time? Would they use force or a taser or double handcuff their own elderly parents? Of course not. Of course they know how to treat the frail and elderly, but for some reason choose to do otherwise. Also, a third incident with an elderly mother suffering from dementia is mentioned. Please see the video at link 2 about 2 minutes 40 seconds in. So we have three very similar incidents here that we know of, and there possibly is more that we don't know about. No, of course it's not a once-off, nor is it the actions of one individual as the media and government like to tell us. It appears to be a repetitive problem because of the culture, structure or management of the police, and it appears the New South Wales Police have not learned from past experience. Now we come to the New South Wales Parliament. Please see video 3. This is very interesting. When this incident occurred, the New South Wales Police Commissioner and the New South Wales Police Minister first start behaving like politicians. Both go into hiding and refuse to talk to the media. The New South Wales Police Minister then tries to blame others and force them to stop talking about this issue. She says the opposition are politicising what happened and tries to shut down all discussion by saying a staff member at the nursing home had received a death threat, and if this threat is carried out, blood would be on the hands of the opposition. This is about as childish as it comes. Parliament's job is to run the state. When issues like this arise, I think most expect them to be raised, questioned, discussed and investigated. Instead, the New South Wales Parliament wants to wait for an investigation to be completed, however long that will take. They have little or no interest themselves to find out what happened. They just want time to pass so the heat goes out of the situation and then they won't be under the spotlight when they have to deal with it. For me, that's very different to the management culture I'm accustomed to in the private sector. Managers I've worked under would address a problem by first investigating it in detail themselves, then minimise any harm currently taking place, and then make sure it doesn't happen again. I think that's how real managers and leaders act when problems like this arise. But politicians first keep their heads low and make sure they're not criticised and their job is not threatened. They duck for cover, avoid responsibility, blame others and shut down discussion. But it appears the New South Wales Police Commissioner had a lesson on how to be a proper leader. When she comes out of hiding some days after the incident, amazingly, she addresses the situation, starts to manage it, and starts to show sympathy for the family and her own emotions to the public. This was the start of some very good decision-making and leadership on her part. In Victoria, if police behave incorrectly, it's investigated internally by the police, who later say who was in the wrong, and possibly this is also normally done in New South Wales. But instead, the New South Wales Police Commissioner gathered the evidence, laid charges against the police officer, and then put the whole incident before the court. That's a far better way to handle it. The courts, not the police, will judge what happened. I think a lot of advice and counselling was offered to the New South Wales Police Commissioner and possibly to the New South Wales Police Minister on how to handle this situation. If an internal police inquiry exonerated the police officer involved, it would be seen as a whitewash and the police would be seen as criminals covering up their crimes. The New South Wales Police Commissioner made some good decisions and put the matter before the courts. Another test of the leadership of the Police Commissioner will come soon. How will the Commissioner and the New South Wales Police Minister put an end to such police behaviour? It has happened 3 times already that we know of, and now someone has died. Will they just let it slide and hope it doesn't happen again, as apparently their predecessors have done? Or will they take action to make sure it doesn't happen again? Keep an eye on what they do. Next, we come to the staff. Please see video 2 about 1 minute in. Here we have another example of harsh police behaviour towards an 81-year-old dementia sufferer who took a lanyard and an iPad from a nursing station, and the nursing staff decided to call the police. How is it possible for people who work with dementia patients not to know that they become confused, forgetful, and their behaviour changes? Surely the first thing nursing staff would do is ask around to see if one of the patients took the items. You would think that nurses would see that as being part of their job to look after the elderly patients. Why call the police when most likely one of the elderly patients took the items? It was not a crime, but part of the confusion and forgetfulness suffered by their dementia patients. But no, the nursing staff decided to call the police and let them handle it. Why on earth? I think they knew all the important details, because when the police came, the nursing staff directed the police to the patient who took the items. So what was going on? Did the nurses want to put an end to these actions by frightening the patient? I don't know. The nursing home was not prepared to share with the family why they called the police. And in this video we see that when ambulance staff arrive, they speak kindly and calmly to the elderly woman and defuse the situation. The elderly woman then becomes compliant and cooperative. Is it too hard for the nursing staff to do that? Why call the police when one of their patients took the items because of their condition? Now consider the New South Wales grandmother who was tasered by police. Surely the nursing staff know that dementia sufferers are forgetful, confused, and their behaviour changes. Why did they focus on the fact that she had a steak knife, which, as I said, presented very little risk, and forget that she was elderly, frail, weighed 43 kilograms, and more importantly, needed their help? Why focus on their safety first, call the police and then run for the exit? There were many other ways of dealing with the situation available to the staff, but they chose otherwise. Why ask her to put the knife down when she was probably not thinking clearly in her state of mind? Why not offer her something she liked, or something like that? What they did was cruel and led directly to her death. People pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to have their elderly relatives looked after in nursing homes. I think these people expect more concern for the patients and far better skills and experience than that. Now finally we arrive at the managers of the nursing home. I hope that any managers or supervisors on duty at the nursing home also didn't run for the exit after the police were phoned. I hope not, but that appears to have happened. Some years back I worked for a manufacturing company. Their management culture was very different to that of the New South Wales parliamentarians and the managers of the nursing home. I saw myself what they could do and do well. They quickly assessed situations, determined and assessed any risk and found a way to handle it, then took quick action to address the problem and limit any harm being caused. I saw there was no risk-taking, no bravado, no putting people in danger. If the police were needed, they would be called, but it was amazing what they could do with little fuss or trouble. That was their management culture. Assess and manage the risks and the dangers. Put the right people in charge to manage the problem, and make sure you get the outcome you want. I wonder what type of management culture these nursing homes have. Where were the mature, experienced managers or supervisors who could assess the situation and risks and then manage them to achieve good outcomes? Was there anyone who could set an example to the staff of effective and professional management in difficult situations? There didn't appear to be any. It appears all management at these nursing homes went AWOL. They appear to occupy their positions in name only. That is disappointing. When put to the test, the entire management team failed, from senior managers down to the lowliest supervisors. Not one of them knew how to handle a difficult situation. All of them that were present brought little more to the table than the most junior employee. They just occupied a position, a title on a business card, and that was all. Let me give you an example of their poor management. The nursing home management said the staff on duty overnight were inexperienced. If you have inexperienced staff, you have escalation procedures in place. If things get out of hand, what do? Who do they contact? Apparently there were no such procedures in place, and the inexperienced staff were left to their own devices, which led to a horrifying outcome. Overall, the New South Wales Police, the New South Wales parliamentarians, the staff and the nursing home management all paint a depressing picture of incompetence, lack of care, lack of experience, lack of procedures, lack of escalation of problems. None were able to set an example of mature leadership and risk management. Only the New South Wales Police Commissioner demonstrated some leadership, but that appears to be only after serious counselling. And she has a lot more to do as a leader, and whether she can do that on her own is questionable. She already has an extremely poor reputation as a leader. What a miserable and useless group of people we have running New South Wales and many of its institutions. Let's hope that the lethal mess that the New South Wales Police make in situations dealing with elderly dementia sufferers never spreads to the other states. Stay safe till next time.